Let's get ready to rumble. We're good?
Do it again?
Hello? Yeah, I get fired up. Is it rolling?
It's rolling.
No way. We're already rolling? All right. So, episode 2, True Potential Podcast. Connor Pedersen featuring Dalton Laino. I brought you back already, eh?
I was thinking about this on the way here. I'm like, I feel honored to be welcomed back for a second episode. Just like you were honored to be welcomed back for a second cup of coffee after our first date.
Oh my God. We're already going there. This is how we're starting. I can't believe this.
Big Ticats guy, though, eh?
I'm a huge Ticats fan. We can talk about that because my family indoctrinated me into the Ticats, fandom. I've had season tickets since I was 25. My grandpa's been going since he was a kid. My dad's had season tickets since he was about 20. We've gone as a group forever, for as long as I can remember. I have a picture with my cousin above like the men's sign. My dad talks about it forever, just like us being kids and going to the games. So yeah, I love the Ticats.
Never been to a game, so this is my first experience tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, dude. Home opener. That's why I'm wearing sunglasses, by the way. I wanted to do like a big pump you up opener, but I'm gonna take these off because that was all that was for. But yeah, anyways. I'm excited.
Yeah, I had dreams of playing in the CFL.
Yes. Yes.
Now I'm watching the CFL for the first time live, which is I've never watched a CFL game before, so this is literally the first time.
Pardon?
I've never seen a CFL game.
Dude, how can you have aspirations to play in something you've never been to a game?
There was no team from where I was, so I do know.
From Windsor?
Now, this is going to test. Let's see. Did Andy Fantus play for Hamilton?
Yeah, dude. And he also played for London. Like, he played for Western.
Yeah, he went to Western, yeah.
Yeah, which is where you went for...
Not where I went for football, but he's from...
No, your master's,
he's from the Windsor area, I'm pretty sure.
Is he from Windsor?
Pretty sure.
Okay, I got you.
He played for the Essex Ravens, which was like where I played.
Essex Ravens?
Yeah.
Okay, so you do have some knowledge. You just decided to after your aspirations were crushed, you were like, I'm just going to go cheer for the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit about that. I know you've had some heartbreak there. Why was the Detroit Lions the team you selected?
Like you, it wasn't by choice. My dad, big Lions fan, big Michigan fan, big Detroit sports fan. Yeah. I grew up in Windsor, so like border to Detroit.
Right.
So that's kind of just how I grew up. I grew up watching losses after losses after losses, and now we're on the up, and I'm unsure of whether I like just being a loser all the time or the heartbreak of the potential that they have, and then they leave me empty-handed. Yeah,
I mean, I can speak on that. It's better to have a great team that has a shot than to have a crap team that leaves you constantly, dreading games. Like last year for the Ticats was rough. A few years ago, we went to back-to-back Grey Cups, and one of those years we were the favorites. My family and I went all the way to Calgary to watch this, and it was devastating watching your team get pumped in the final.
Well, didn't they blow it that one year? In Hamilton.
In Calgary, they blew it, and then in Hamilton, they
went
home,
in front of the home crowd.
No, in Hamilton, yeah. So that was Calgary. They blew it. They were supposed to be the favorites. They just came out and had a stinker of a first half, and just everything you could think would go wrong went wrong. And then when we were back in Hamilton, that was a back and forth game. We kind of we were in a good position to win. Then we went to overtime. Buddy, bro, I've never been so heartbroken watching someone throw a pick to lose a Grey Cup. Oh my God. But at least I was there, right? My parents and I my family and I always talk about that trip to Calgary was amazing. The build up, the party, all the celebration stuff was amazing for that whole weekend. And you don't get to have that unless you get to go there. So it's better ultimately.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what would you rather wear, go to a Vikings game against Detroit and wear a Vikings jersey, or watch the Detroit Lions lose in the Super Bowl? That was going to be my would you rather question. Yeah.
Bro, I would easily wear a Viking jersey did you say wear a Lion jersey at a Vikings game?
No, wear a Vikings jersey at a Lions.
Yeah, 100% I would do that.
You'd wear the opposing team's jersey?
Yeah, bro, if we could not lose in the Super Bowl?
Oh, so you don't want to take that. You don't want to lose in the Super Bowl.
No.
Really?
Wait, so that means they win the Super Bowl if they don't lose, right?
No. It just means you have to watch them lose. You have to be present for both games, one of which is you're wearing the opposing team's jersey and there for a Lions game. So you have to literally cheer.
I'm if they're going to win, then I'll do anything.
Yeah, of course you do anything to win. No, they have to lose.
All right, then I
told you, it was a good would you rather. I came up with it earlier.
I wouldn't want to watch them lose in the Super Bowl. That would hurt too much.
Yeah,
I
would.
I wouldn't do it.
But I think all the build-up, the ride, man,
Doesn't
would
matter.
be amazing, right?
No.
What if it was close? Would that be worse or a blowout?
It would be worse if it was close.
Yeah, it would. I mean, you had a rough year this year. Football's amazing, man. I'll be honest. Like, it's one of the most exciting sports. I don't know if it's because as humans we love people like just going at each other for like 4 quarters. I don't know, but it's just such a grueling sport, and then also there's so much finesse and flair and like exciting big plays. Like, it's just awesome. It's different than other sports.
Yeah,
I think.
I agree. I mean, it was the love of my life for a really long time.
Totally.
So
in the trenches, though, you were living a different life. Like
in the trenches.
No one sees the game from that view.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Just face mask.
Yeah, that's true. I want to ask you a question though, because
Sure.
I think we got to get out of the CFL talk. Because anyway.
Oh, I thought the whole podcast was gonna be full. That we were making a change.
So we're episode 2. Episode 1 was fun. How do you feel now that you've put that out and like just like talking about that? Like, how has it been since being almost a month or so removed from making that choice? Like, how's that been for you?
Yeah, since making the choice to drop out of school, it's been honestly great. Like, I've had so much more space for things in my life, and then all the things that I knew I was kind of doing not as well because I was just so busy and so kind of clouded in my head. Like, all those things are going way better. I just feel like way more centered. And like way more directed to the goals that I had originally and like just focused. The other thing I was thinking about this week is I really need to sit down. I don't know if people do this a lot, but it's super helpful. If you don't take time to actually write down what your current goal is or what you're looking to kind of pursue, and for those of you that have followed me for a long time, I used to do it every 3 months. I used to put them out and it was really helpful for me. But if you don't have a guide, like a North Star, then you're kind of putting things all over the place. And for me, after I got some space, I was like, I could definitely put more time into just like, I need to write out some things that I want to accomplish in the next 3-6 months. And when I say accomplish too, I mean like also planning some fun things too, because I think that's a good balance, like some rewards, like something along the way that's going to keep me going, that keeps me excited. So people need to do both, but you need to take some space and time for yourself and do that. But I feel great. So I'm going to probably do that soon, and see what I actually really want to do with the rest, like the next year of my life or next 6 months of my life.
So you haven't sat down and done that?
No, I was a little bit, I don't want to use the word burnt out. It's overused. I was a little bit like tired and drained, and people could see it. Like, I just didn't have the same energy. And now you're talking to me, 2 weeks removed or even more, and I'm like bopping around and I'm feeling great. And like, that's how I want to be. So now I can take the time to like make a good positive decision on what I really want to focus on because I've gotten space. If I didn't have that, I'd just be spinning my tires, right? Again, you don't want to overthink. You don't want to constantly be plotting, planning. Sometimes you need to be present. So I needed a couple weeks to get present again, enjoy what I do, have some fun with some clients, play basketball with the kids and like get back to that, which is awesome. And then, now I'm feeling revved up and I want to do more things again.
Yeah, it's good. I appreciated that from you, like taking some time to just like recharge yourself. I'm definitely someone who will just like drive themselves into the ground.
Yeah, it's easy.
And then just like blow up and then try to figure out how to like regain that. And then it's like this cycle of that over and over again.
Yeah, I think, again, like some people are very self-aware and they want to constantly better themselves, and maybe you and I fall in that category, but there's a limit on that. And I think this is something that you want to talk about today, is like what self-development is, when it's a good thing and when it can be maybe too much. So like when I say that to you, what do you think? Like what comes up in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that I've thought about a lot, and I think like for me, I'm torn still, and I don't really know how I feel about it, because like, and this is a recent realization, is that like, self-development, growth, trying to better yourself, all these things that I talk about a lot, and that what most people talk about a lot, I think they're very good pursuits, and it's done a lot for me in my life. But at the same time, if you use self-development as a way to avoid some of the other challenges that you're going through in your life, it then can become a hindrance. And what I've had a hard time accepting, and I feel like this is a very common theme just in life, is that like that one thing can be the thing that absolutely is the best thing for you, and also can be the thing that's keeping you or holding you back, or a negative thing. And trying to figure out what to do with that is hard. So like for me, it's like when I first started having a lot of this motivation to better myself, so to speak, it was coming from a place of like anger, insecurity, shame around like the person that I was at that time. Kind of losing yourself, a lot of other things going on in my life at that moment where I was like, ooh, I don't like this at all. And I don't want to be like this anymore. So I went on this journey of like, I got to figure out who I am, what I want, how, you know, how I'm going to better myself, where I can improve in my life. And those pursuits led me down a path of like pretty amazing things. Like I had a lot of growth myself. I learned a lot about who I was. I've, you know, physically changed my body, mentally changed my body, was able to establish this focus on a business and start a business and run a business for 5 years. Like all those things would have never happened the way that they happened if it wasn't for that path. But at the same time now, as I'm kind of gearing, I wouldn't say gearing down, but I'm getting older, I guess, or just been doing it for a long enough period of time, I'm realizing that it's probably not sustainable to continue to use the shame, the insecurity, the hate as a strong word, but the hate for that period of my life as the driver of my continued growth.
Yeah, I like to use the word lack. If you're always coming from a place of lack, I'm always lacking. I need to better myself here, right? If it's always that, then you really never win. And that striving to win or to get better or whatever, like, will be just constant. And that fuel will eventually run out, right? You need a fuel that's more sustainable. And honestly, there's a fuel from self-love and gratitude and gratefulness and grace and being excited about your pursuits rather than doing your pursuits to prove a point or from what you don't have. And again, we all grow, right? You've evolved. And I think that's more what's happening here, at least from what I hear it as a secondary person, is you've evolved from maybe where you felt like you didn't have enough or you weren't enough, and you've really just evolved and changed and grown and gotten better. And now it's like those things don't motivate you anymore because you're not a bad person or lacking or like any of those things anymore. So they can't fuel you because there's nowhere to look for like lack. You don't have lack. You have now more bigger pursuits that you have this like arsenal of skills for and tools, and you can go do it, but you have to do it from a place of like excitement and joy, right? Like we talk about this when we make content and we do different things, and for me, it's, you know, when I coach or when I'm with people, and for you, it's when you're treating, or again, you're doing all your run stuff that your club does. Like all of that stuff is joyous and it's exciting because you're bringing people together. Like how cool is that? So again, it doesn't, running, you know, kilometers and miles and miles and miles, it may come from a place of lack at first, but then when you start to bring people into it and you do it out of a place of enjoyment, that shifts there. You just have to catch up with it.
Yeah. And I think I just haven't gotten to that place yet. Like I'm in this weird zone of like I'm transitioning. It's like I'm recognizing that I'm transitioning. I feel that I need the transition, but I haven't made that like jump. And like you said, coming from a place of lack or not being enough, or even just having a chip on your shoulder is always where I've brought my drive from. So It's like, you know, and I remember these things. It's like, I remember when I was, do you remember when you used to have to do those things in grade school? It was like, it was for the drugs. So like kids don't do drugs. You go to the VIP. No, what was it called? I'm blanking. Was it VIP? Was that what it's called?
I don't know what it stands for.
So I was like grade 5 or 6, bro. And I remember going there, and I was a large kid when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
I went up to the police officers that were there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I might want to be a police officer. And buddy's like, well, you're going to have to lose a little bit of weight to be able to be a police officer.
What grade is this?
Grade like 6,
bro.
That
is never something you need to say.
And I was like, all right, okay. So like that, like I can remember these things. I remember my grade 6 teacher telling me, grade 6 was a tough year, telling me that I wouldn't amount to anything. Yeah. I remember when I was going to physio school, and one of my professors, like, no one gets into physio school. Why are you going to try to get into physio school? Like, I remember when people would tell me, like, why would you start a business? You're only like 2 years out of school. Like, those things are in my mind, and like those things are what like have always driven me forward. And I think I'm always looking for like, where can I get better? Where am I not enough to improve? And that's always been what's driven me. So now it's like, I get nervous about, do I let that go? Because I'll just create these narratives in my head too. Like I'll just make stuff up.
Okay, Michael Jordan, The Last Dance.
Okay, I'm serious. Like,
I made the competition. I was playing dimes with the security guard in the back. I went everything. Like, okay.
I did get cut from my basketball team too.
Win. Oh, put that
kidding.
chip on your shoulder, bro. Damn. But it sounds like you had a bunch of chips. You're stacking those things up, and then you started eating them. No, and then you started like getting rid of them, right? Let's say eating, and you just change yourself, fix that, build this thing. Like again, though, but like those people, for whatever they lacked in how they communicated what they said, they're not important. And what's important for you now, once you've kind of proven. Because all that is, here's the thing, here's a real thing. If someone says something to you and it bothers you, that's because it tickles a little bit of self-doubt you already have. That's not because of what they said. It's because it hurts you. You could say something to me, and if I don't believe it, I don't care. It just goes right off, my back. I don't give a shit. But if it's something that you actually have thought about, and it's a little bit of self-doubt, and it's an insecurity, it is going to hurt a little bit. And that's where you come from, that place of, I got to fix this because I don't want to be hurt. Mm-hmm. The problem is, well, not the problem. The great thing is you use that as motivation. You didn't let it, destroy you. The second thing is once you build all these foundations of just real positive change, you don't need that anymore. You don't need someone to say something to you. Less things trigger you. Less things bother you. So where do you go to get it? You can't make it up, right? You just can't. You run out of ways to make it up. You really do, right? Especially just in everyday life.
No, you're right.
Jordan,
you're right.
You're not going for 6 championships here. So
just hold on.
Oh, you got to get your electrolytes in? Yeah, sure. You're winded.
Gatorade commercial.
Yeah, absolutely. Sponsored by. The other thing I was going to say quickly while I have time to monologue is, isn't it funny when I was saying kilometers, I wanted to say miles, and we're going to go to a football game that's the CFL, and it's still in yards. We're so indoctrinated into certain things. To me, a mile just sounds sexier. 100 miles an hour. If that car goes 100 miles an hour, it's just way better than kilometers. When I was saying you're running, I was
I logged some miles.
Yeah, I logged some KMs today. Sick.
It's not as good.
Yeah, how's your pet beaver? That's all I think about when I do that. So Americanized.
Yeah,
it's just way cooler, Anyways, but yeah, I don't know if you want to add to that, but I think again, when you're a certain age and you develop and you grow, you need to use things to motivate you. I don't think it's negative. I think they just change. And along the way, you have to realize why things bothered you. And some of that self-awareness is realizing that it's not that person, because a lot of those people you've never seen again. It's you, right? It's what do I want for myself? And it's if somebody says something and you go, damn, they're right, or damn, they're not right. I'm going to prove it to yourself. Right? Just change the tone and change where you're putting the emphasis, right? Don't put a picture of that person on your bulletin board. That's irrelevant. Put a picture of yourself on your bulletin board and be this is what I want to be. That's way more motivating, because you have to love that person the whole way through, and you're going to get to that point, and then again, you're going to have something else you're going to strive for, and you can only do that if you're focused on yourself, right? So that's my opinion.
No, I think that's a good opinion, and I do agree. I think a lot of these things are very easy to talk about, harder to do.
1,000%. I'm not saying I don't get pissed off.
No, I know, but I'm just
frustrated with people, I should say.
So my question then is, last podcast you had this clip that just in my mind of you talking about it's all good, I still love myself, I'm good, and it was really cool. I appreciated you saying that. I think how do you get to that place? How do you operate from that?
More self-love?
Yeah, you're talking about what you're just talking about, coming at this from a place of peace or love, or for me, not for this chip on my shoulder, or trying to come from a place of lacking, so for you, when you are operating in that wavelength, what does that look like?
That's a good question.
Or how do you keep yourself in that? Because there's periods of time maybe where I feel I'm there, but then how do you come at doing all the things that you're doing from a place of peace versus oh, I'm not enough, or oh, I don't have enough money, or oh, my business isn't enough, or...
Yeah, I mean, I've developed this over time, and I think I've developed it especially over the last year and a bit. I don't try to compare myself as much to other people. I try to compare where I was to where I am now. And then I also try to surround myself with people that want me to get better, or if I ask them for help, they look at it this is my opportunity to support somebody, because I like to do that also. when you're in a place of like giving without trying to receive all the time, and you're just around people with like a similar growth mindset, or you share, again, it's being, maybe I should have said this first, it's really being open, right? Being open to things, being open to getting support, being open to working with people, being open to not knowing, right? I'm currently doing a basketball development program, and I'm not the most tenured coach by any means there. I just recently got into coaching specifically, and I really care a lot about it. I care a lot about getting very good at it, so that I can coach athletes at a high level. And though I have a lot of expertise maybe in the physical aspect of things, I don't always in the basketball aspect of things. And it's hard for me to even say that because I don't want to walk in and that's something that people know about me, let's say. But it is what it is. I have a lot of knowledge, understanding, but the more I'm open and asking questions, whether they come off as dumb to one person or a simple answer to another person, I just ask them because I need the answer. I don't care about what it looks like. I care about getting the answer, getting better, asking people around me for their help, and that's helped me a lot in my career. But I've just been able to do it better at a larger scale now. And so like it's more like those types of things. And then again, when you pay it, when you do that and then you pay it forward to other people, when you have opportunities to help them, it just really creates this circle of good energy. And you don't really feel the critique or criticalness that maybe we kind of grew up with at times, because we all grew up in like general population, like all in a school, and we just have to go through the ringer, right, with all the things, and we get grades and we get all this stuff, and you're going to get graded, you're going to get tested, you're going to get whatever, but it's how you approach that and how you look for the next thing. And I think anybody that's had a good relationship with teachers in the past, right, and good teachers will always encourage you. If you're putting in the work and you're coming in, during your lunch period and getting help, like they're going to help you, they're going to work with you. Like there's all these signs that that's the right way to do it. It's just hard because it's what it looks like or what you feel. It's uncomfortable to again, lack, because you do start sometimes in different categories from a place of lack, and it feels uncomfortable to be there, right? But you have to start there, and everything you do, you're a beginner at everything. So begin, and then just try to work as hard as possible to, quickly pick things up. And the more you ask, the more efficient you're going to learn, right? You can't learn everything in a textbook. That's why I quit my master's. But you know what I mean? Like you can't, like you got to be in it. You got to be talking to people that have done it. And experience it and be in front of a group of people and get something wrong, right? But the energy you can hold there while you like get something wrong and then keep going, that's what they look for. That's what people look for. They don't look for you to know everything off the bat. If you knew everything, you'd be their boss or their whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't skip levels, right? Just like you're finding now, like, and maybe I'm finding now, I've done a lot of things and some of this stuff feels easy, but it didn't always feel easy because I had to start as a beginner.
Yeah,
I ran other businesses for people, right? Like I've done this to a degree. Still don't do it perfect because my emotion gets tied into my own business, but I know how to do it at a core level because I've done it. I've gone through the trials and tribulations, right? Had the problems, etc. So, I think it's being open. I think it's asking for support and getting good mentors, and then also being a mentor to some people. That helps you learn and grow. So support, mentorship, and being open, and just trusting people and asking questions. I don't know. That's the best I got for like growth wise. Self-love is maybe an evolved topic and we can come back to it, but what are your thoughts on some of that?
No, I agree. I like the idea of like being open. I think one thing that I actually set out to do this year, partially because I was going through a bit of a struggle with my own injury, and like last year was a big performance focused year for me, and more selfish. Like I was really going for it for myself, which I'm not mad about. Like I think it's important that you do that, and I probably haven't done enough of that in my life. But this year, because I was going through a little bit of injury, I made the focus to be on serving other people, and serving others is a big value for me in general as a person. But I put that as the focus for my fitness this year, as like how can I best serve other people around me utilizing fitness, because that's a big part of me. And so by doing that, what's actually happened is I've become more motivated, and actually I think this will be even better of a year. I don't know yet with some of the goals that I have, but will be a better year than last year, because I'm noticing that I'm more filled up. I'm more fired up because I'm putting a lot of the focus on, like, you know, how can I help our 100-mile relay team get ready to run 100 miles and do something that they've never done before? How can I help Will, you know, and film and document his process and see his growth for the 50K? And like, there's a lot of things that I'm doing where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it for other people and use fitness as a way for me to do that and serve others. It's actually filled me up and made me more focused, and actually probably, we'll see, hopefully perform a little bit better.
Yeah, and it's also giving you purpose while you had to be a little more stationary. You couldn't, you know, run like you wanted to, and you couldn't do certain things because of your injury. So you put your pain into purpose, and which is something that I think you've talked about many times that you're good at, and that's what you kind of look at overcoming your pain in life is by finding purpose, and you oftentimes find it in others, and that's a good topic. But I think it's almost self-serving to give. This is why people that are really big givers, I would just look at them and go, you know, you like, that's a good thing to, like, it feels good when you do that. When you give a gift, it feels good for yourself, right?
Yeah. There's a bit of like selfishness in that.
But it's not, but like, we get caught up in this word, like selfishness.
No, I don't think it's negative. I don't think it's negative.
No, it's not, because I have to self-preserve and be self-good. And if I have more, this is the big thing. Life is energy. If I have good energy, I can transfer it to other people.
Yes.
That is the key.
Yeah, it's that idea of like filling your own cup or having your own cup filled in order to like be able to serve other people. Or yeah, I agree with that.
Right. So it goes back to the self-love thing. If my thoughts and the way I talk to myself aren't positive, then my energy is already going to be low, and I can't look for other people to fill myself back up. This is why people run around trying to, you know, figure out ways to fill themselves back up with, you know, positive energy and everything else. You need to build that. You need to build that foundation. So some of the self-growth you talked about, that over that time period, that's good because you're building these foundational tools to be like, I know how to care and love myself and be great at things so I can feel confident. And then you turn it the other way and you go, how do I give that back? And then how do I receive, right? And again, when you get into this perfect loop where you're giving and then you're giving to yourself, you just stay at this frequency. And again, the way you protect that is you be around people that are at this frequency. There is a time and place to help people, right? And give them space and give them, you know, energy from yourself. And then you have to really guard that too, and you have to make sure you refill that back up. And again, that person has to also level themselves up, right? This is the other challenge. And we've done this in, you know, we work with people, right? So it's like you have to start to help them build the skills and then give them autonomy to help them build themselves back up. Autonomy is what creates true self-value, right? If I do it on my own, I believe in myself. If someone else does it for me, I don't believe necessarily, right? Oh, I always need someone to help me with this. No, you do not. Learn the skills, get better, show yourself some experiences where you've done it. People can be around you, teams, etc., and then go, yeah, I did that. I did that thing. And then take that with you, right? Like there's so many times in my life where I go into situations and I'm not ready for this. And then I have good people like you, a few other friends that will be like, yeah, you can. Just try. What would you like? Or they say, write out the plan for this client. What would you do? And I write it out and they go, that's a great plan. Like when I was first like in my PT stages, I was like, here's the plan. That's a great plan. Why are you overthinking it? Right? Because I'm like, I don't want to fail. Dude, you're going to fail. Things are going to go wrong. That's how you learn really quick. But like, I love that you turned your pain into purpose, because I've watched the content that you guys have put out, and I've watched you even doing the commentary for, was it Sudbury Springs? Or no, what is it? Not Sudbury.
Sulphur Springs.
Sudbury, the big nickel. Sulphur Springs. Yeah, so Sulphur Springs. So like, I watched all that content, and it's amazing content. But if you were running it, do you think you'd be focused on that?
No.
Exactly. There are periods in life where it's about driving yourself forward and you have this big opportunity. And then there's periods where you can do that. Man, who's going to film your high rocks when you go do that? Who's going to be there?
Yeah, I mean, we got that all planned
recording
out already, but...
You do?
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be me?
Well, you can do it, too.
Wow. Shit, I thought the position was open.
Bro, come on. We're professionals.
I'm pissed. Now, I got excited. I didn't even think about that idea.
You can come. Hey, multiple angles.
I'm not a secondary player. No, I'm kidding. I will for sure come. That'd be so much fun, dude.
Yeah.
I would love to watch you do that and be around it and film it and create content. And this, like, again, content is this beautiful thing. If it's done right, that can make people laugh, that provides energy, right? It inspires you. I would actually encourage more people to put out what they like. Be authentic to you and put out the stuff that like gets you fired up. I like seeing it. We talked about this yesterday. I love authentic people. You don't even have to like the same things as me, right? But if you love it with passion, you like it with passion, I'm like, yo, keep talking. This is great, right? Because your energy comes to me and I'm just like, yeah, this is awesome, right? Sweet. People are great. But again, energy transfer is huge. This is going to be sweet. High Rocks, we're going to do a cool thing for that. I'm excited now. I'm joining the crew.
Go.
All right. I wore the sunglasses at the beginning because I was going to do, let's get ready to rumble. And then we were going to go into like the pod because it's going to be home opener, right?
Right.
But we didn't get to do that. Also, before we go to the tie kick game tonight, and I take these sunglasses off.
Bro, this is crazy. Okay.
Do you know the chant? The tie cat cheer?
Yeah.
What is it? Go ahead.
Well, I don't know it, but I know. Well, I know.
So if I
know
say
it.
Oski Wee Wee, what do you say?
I don't know, but I just know. Hey,
I can't bring you.
I knew Oski Wee Wee. I knew that.
My dad is gonna.
What do you say back?
Kill you.
Go
Oski,
tie cats.
No, you don't. Oh God, I'm gonna puke. Oski Wee Wee, Oski Wawa, Holy Mackinac, Tigers, eat 'em raw. There's also some hand things with it, but that's pretty much what we're gonna be at.
Tigers eat 'em raw.
Tigers eat 'em raw. At least get that part right. Okay, sunglasses are off. We're ready to rumble. We're back for the second half of this bad boy. What you got for me? I got you at a loss, bro. Yeah.
I'm speechless.
Dude, my energy transfer is huge right now.
Let's
go.
Speechless.
Look at that big cat energy.
Yeah.
Tie cat.
I
Okay,
kind of forget what
anyways.
we were even saying.
I don't know, dude. We were talking about self-development. We were talking about loving yourself. We were talking about all these things that men aren't supposed to talk about. Oh. Ooh.
What?
No, it's funny because I'll have a couple guys that will probably watch this and be like, is he talking about self-love, bro? And I'll be like, yeah, dude.
You know what?
Oh, we're going to go there.
We're not going to talk about self-love today because I think that's a good conversation to have. I think we're already pretty deep in this podcast. Like, I would like to talk about that with you. And the reason I would like to talk about that with you is because that's something that I've been working on a lot. And I think I shared this with you the other day is like, I don't fully know how to do that. And that shit's hard. And I'm stuck because I know that that's a challenge in my life.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do with it, and I just want to force it. Like, I just want it to, like, I was telling you the other day, I'm like, talking to my therapist, I'm like, just tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
I'll stay up for 3 days, and I'll figure it out.
Totally.
And, like, that's how my brain works. So I do think that's a good topic of conversation.
For sure it is. And, like, for all the athletes that might watch this, right, it's like, I have a bad jump shot. I'm going to work on the jump shot. It'll get better. I'm not a good shooter. Like, it's like... Yeah, that's maybe true, right? But like,
but that's the beauty of those kind of things.
Yeah, it's
like,
easy to be like, I'm just going to put the work in.
That's just like what I've always done.
But again, the work isn't this like linear thing, right? You're going to have moments where even though you put all that time into the gym or even though you ran all those kilometers, right? It's like you fail or you get an injury or something happens. And in those moments, you need to really still care about yourself, right? And not be like, I'm nothing without this sport. I'm nothing without this thing. I'm not this, like, if you attach your identity too much to one thing, right, that's when it becomes a problem. So we will double back to that because I think it's this important conversation. But what would you like to wrap up things with today? What's like some other topics that have been on your brain?
I think we hit on the main topic that I was talking about, but like to your point about identity, one thing maybe I can share with you guys that I heard I thought was pretty cool. I don't know if you've heard of Steve Magnus and Brad Stolberg. They run The Growth Equation. Okay. Really great newsletter. Been following for years. Great podcast. Read a lot of their books. I can't remember which one of them talked about this, but they talked about this idea of having many hats when it comes to identity and being able to like take one hat off and put another hat on. And something that I've struggled with in the past is like getting caught up in one identity, like, and so focused on, okay, I got my business hat on and I'm just riding that out. And I put a lot of like weight into a couple of my identities. That being one, me like fitness, and I don't call myself an athlete, but pursuits of that. Yeah. You know,
athletic pursuits.
So those two things a lot. And one thing that I've asked myself, and it's kind of happened because I've been injured and not being able to do what I want, but like, what would happen if I couldn't use fitness as a means to regulate or have fulfillment in my life? Then what do I do? Right? And then business, it's like, well, what happens if my business goes away? But what they talk about is this idea of like, there's times where you might have to take one hat on and put another one on, and being able to have multiple hats is a good thing. Because like also beyond being a business owner and having athletic pursuits, I'm also a brother, I'm also a friend, I'm also a podcaster, I'm also, you know, I have a lot of different identities that that I own that I can always go to. I like to write. I like to create content. It's like, man. And I've been trying to build those hats up, I think, over the years. And now it's like remembering that I have those, that I can just like take one on, put the other one on. Man, this is so important, right? I think when you were talking through that, I thought, you know, the jack of all trades, master of none thing, and how people get criticized for that, right? Because you're not, you know, pursuing mastery. Well, what the heck happens if you pursue mastery and it falls apart?
right? Or again, athletes, we're talking, from that standpoint, you get an injury that really affects you, puts you out for a year, puts you out longer. Maybe you don't play the same way again. I don't know. There's lots of things, right? Like you have to have other identities. You also hit on like something that's super important. You are a brother, right? You are a son. You are all these things. Like we get caught up in what we're trying to pursue, but you are things to other people and they are those things to you. And it's like nurturing those relationships and other foundations in your life are so important. I said this to you. I went home last weekend and we were playing cornhole and like I'm just hanging out with my my dad and my sisters and my stepmom, and then I went and saw my mom after the fact and we're just sitting out in the country with her. And like, dude, it's just that stuff's so filling, right? If you just let it be, if you just sit in it and enjoy it, and you don't have to be anything in those moments, right? I can just tell my parents about what's going on and they're just super excited for me, and like you just shoot the shit on like random stuff. We get away from that for whatever reason. It's so nice. Or you play an arbitrary game and you get a little competitive with it, right? Like it's dope. And you're like, oh man, my sister and I last weekend, it was hilarious. We were listening to old songs like Hall & Oates and stuff because she loves that music. And like her and I are literally dancing, playing cornhole. And I'm a really competitive guy and I wasn't even really paying attention to the game. So that's not like me. So it's good to just disconnect. Because one of my hats is dancer as well. Just kidding. But no, you do wear a lot of hats. I think that's one of the best things I've heard in a while. That was very good.
Cool. This is going to die, so you want to sign off?
Yeah, we're going to sign off on there. That was good.
This is a good conversation.
I agree. This is number 2, right? So
yeah,
we're figuring this out as we go. But this was awesome. And I appreciate you coming on again right away. Amazing.
As always. Oski wee wee.
Oski wee wee. Oski wawa.
Eat 'em.
No, Holy Mackinac. Tigers eat 'em raw. We're getting a dub tonight.
Peace.
Later, guys.